Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 26th November 2023. My name is TSV Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube. HARDAN, 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 Haribol, TSV Nectar, NECTAR, Nectar. In this particular vlog, in all my previous videos, we have been discussing about the knowledge and information that we have gleaned through the study of spiritual books, scriptures, contemplation on the material universe, and meditation on the spiritual universe. This particular video in this vlog is no exception to that rule. In fact, it is a mere continuation of all that we have been doing in all my previous videos. Kindly subscribe to this video and this vlog so that I may keep reminding you of all my previous, present, and future videos. So let us continue with the topic of discussion for today's video. Today we shall discuss the importance of a very significant term in the life and psyche of every human living entity, whether male or female, in this material world in a particular lifetime. The term is positivity. We all know that a living entity may lead his or her lifetime in a particular material world with positivity, indifference, or sheer negativity. It all depends on the psyche, the whims, fantasies, tastes, preferences, surroundings, atmosphere, birth, bringing up, destiny, and karma of every individual living entity, whether male or female. We shall talk about positivity in this particular video and find out how important it is in the life of a living entity. Positivity is heavenly, indifference is totally material, and negativity is hellish. All these forces are present and quite active in this society or atmosphere in the material world. It depends on every individual living entity to choose one of them. I may hasten to add here that almost 75% of the society usually is selfish, careless, and indifferent to this wants, desires, needs, and sufferings of the others in the society. Of the other 25%, 20% are decidedly negative in their nature. They are more selfish, more greedy, more conniving, and more cunning than the rest of the society. They are not interested in the interests of others in the society. They just bother to fill their own pockets and to achieve only their selfish desires, come what may be, or how it is going to affect the rest of the humanity. Only 5% are usually positive in nature. They think about the welfare of not only themselves but for the rest of the society too. And alas, this includes even those who are negative in nature. The minority thinks positively, and the population of those who are positive in outlook is actually very less in number. However, our own spiritualists advise, suggest, and educate us about this subject, and they specifically instruct all those who follow them or are devoted to them to lead a positive life. They do not wish the follower to be either very indifferent or be negative. Indifference may be tolerated in usual circumstances. Indifference means not bothering about the others and just minding one's own business. Such people neither help nor harm the rest in the society. They just bother about leading their own life. Not so with people who are stung by the virus of negativity. Such people not only want their own interests to be served, but they are selfish, careless, and cunning enough to try to make sure that this is at the expense of others in the society. Usually, it so happens that those who are negative in nature keep fighting with each other because every one of them is equally selfish, greedy, careless, cunning, sadistic, cruel, and vindictive. That is precisely the reason why there is a lot of strife among the 20% of the society which has these negative forces as members in the shape of negative living entities. It is said that even those who are negative usually discourage those who are indifferent from joining their own club. They do not want extra members in their negative society. They in fact tell these indifferent people that they are too weak, ignorant, innocent, and straight to become part of their 20%. But not so with the 5% positive people. They encourage those who are hitherto indifferent or even negative to shed their inhibitions, their desires, and their myopia towards the society and join the positive club. Monks, saints, rishis, maharishis, sages, spiritualists, godmen, and other such nice people want the society to join their own club so that this society gives a positive vibe. But alas, Brahma has not created this universe that way. He, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has given the free will to every human living entity, whether male or female, to decide whether to go the positive way, the negative way, or remain indifferent. As has been said by spiritualists of yore, there is a very important saying in the English language: as you sow, so you reap. The chakras or the wheels of destiny and karma begin operating the very moment a particular living entity takes his or her first birth as a human being. This particular karma, efforts, or destiny may take a positive, an indifferent, or a negative term in a particular lifetime. It is also possible that an indifferent person may be indifferent in the beginning, but take to one of the positive or negative camps during his or her lifetime. In that case, his or her destiny and karma are affected accordingly, and hence this particular living entity's sanchit karma or storage of unworked karma includes his or her positive or negative deeds as well. When it is indifference alone, this particular living entity remains vegetating in this world. On the other hand, if he or she wants to progress positively, then that person does positive karma and proceeds further in the material positivity or spirituality route. On the other hand, if the same person takes to doing negative karma, then one day or the other, his or her sanchit karma includes his or her negative deeds, and hence his or her prarabdha karma or a slice of sanchit karma for the next birth includes this negative karma also. We shall cite a few examples in this matter so that we understand this term better. There is an apocryphal story in our own spiritual scriptures where it is mentioned that once the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahavishnu, was lying in the bed which was in the Milky Way in his own palace. Along with him, he had his own consort, Lakshmi, the woman or the goddess of opulence. This noble goddess, who was the consort of Mahavishnu, looked down under into the earth once through a casual gaze. What she saw alarmed her. She found that all the human living entities in this earth were very sorrowful, dejected, depressed, and deprived of happiness. She was stunned. After all, they were under her protection and guidance. She could not tolerate this. She was very pained. She looked at her husband, the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahavishnu, and asked him, how is it that these inhabitants of earth who are under your protection and my support are feeling so dejected? Lord Vishnu smiled. He said, we individually are not to be blamed for the plight of the average humanity. Every human, whether male or female, is enjoying or suffering only his or her karma. It is their own doing and undoing. We have neither told them to do one act or have we not cautioned them of doing that act. Everyone has a free will and he or she has acted according to his or her free will. Goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of opulence, was very pained. She could not understand this argument. She told Lord, I really wish to help these people in humanity in the material world and earth. Kindly suggest me a way so that I may go and help these people. God smiled again. He gave her a huge vessel of goodies which were floating in liquid form in the vessel. He said, "Take this and go to the society and help those people by nourishing them with this liquid. But before going," he said, "let me take one tiny vessel and fill it with one liquid so that you may take the rest of it to help the society in the material world." God took one tiny cup of that liquid and kept it with himself. Goddess Lakshmi took the rest of the liquid in the vessel and came to earth, to this material world. Here she discussed this matter with humanity, which told her about its various wants, desires, deprivations, sorrows, sadness, etc. Goddess Lakshmi was genuinely pained. She said, "Okay, guys, I will help you out of this misery by distributing this liquid among all of you." She equally distributed the liquid among every one of them. They became temporarily quite jubilant and happy. All their problems till that time were solved immediately, and all of them became opulent, successful, and happy. They thanked Goddess Lakshmi profusely, profusely and told her how great she was and how devoted they were towards her. Goddess Lakshmi was very pleased that she had returned happiness to this humanity. She came back to the side of Mahavishnu and told him smilingly, "I have helped these people in the humanity out of their individual miseries. Now they are all very happy." The Supreme Personality of Godhead just smiled benignly and congratulated Goddess Lakshmi for her achievement. After a few days, Lakshmi gazed into this earth again to see how happy those people in the material world were. She was shocked. These people were as miserable as they were in her previous visits. There was strife, warfare, indifference, vindictiveness, jealousy, envy, anger, war, battles, and other such negative competition and vibes in the society. Everyone was fighting with each other, and seldom was anyone completely happy. The rich, the indifferent, the middle class, the lower middle class, the higher middle class, and the poor all had their own individual burdens of problems. Lakshmi was shocked. He had just now distributed so much opulence among this humanity, and that too equally. Then how did this happen? He conveniently forgot the price of being from three different categories in the society: one positive, one indifferent, and one negative. The negative and greedy ones had made sure to snatch everything that the indifferent had got from goddess Lakshmi. This indifferent section of the society was too innocent, gullible, and vulnerable to preserve the opulence given to it by goddess Lakshmi. Instead, they had parted with it by giving it away to the conniving, negative living entities. Only a very tiny section of positively thinking people seemed to be genuinely happy and contented. Goddess Lakshmi of opulence looked at the Supreme Personality of Godhead and asked him why it was happening like this. I have given them every opulent substance in the world, and yet all of them are so unhappy, he wailed. Mahavishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, smiled, and then Goddess Lakshmi remembered that out of this vessel of opulence, Lord Vishnu had taken one tiny vessel of liquid and kept it with himself before giving the rest to Lakshmi to distribute among every member of the society. Intrigued, Goddess Lakshmi asked him what was in that vessel. Goddess Lakshmi was surprised when he said, "It is not much, it is just devotion towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Except for this tiny item called devotion to the Lord, I had given almost 99% of the vessel to be distributed among humanity. This tiny vessel I kept with myself deliberately to make you understand that all the opulence in the world is useless to make humans happy unless they have a sincere devotion towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or to totally and unconditionally surrender to the Almighty. Those positive people who are looking contented are those who already have their own share of this devotion, and hence they mixed it with the opulence that you gave them, and this has kept them contented because they are using your opulence, which is their share, mixed with their devotion for the Almighty. Because they are doing so, I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, take care of their material and spiritual progress. regardless of whether they are materialistically inclined or spiritually inclined. If these people are devoted to God, then they can be happy and contented and not otherwise. The rest of this society of indifferent or negative living entities is unhappy just because of their own share of devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is all I wish to speak in this particular video. We shall continue with this discussion in my next video. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on the subject of positivity. Please give me your own expert views, thoughts, ideas, and opinions so that I may blend everything together for the sake of this society. Before concluding, let me remind you that I am also a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.